Hey guys, it's Beauty for All 102, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm kind of just doing like one of those videos where I just kind of want to like get something out. This subject is honestly something that everyone needs to be aware of, and it's been a huge like part of my life, and I just think that like seriously everyone needs to be aware of this. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Leave comments down below on what you guys like think on this subject, and thumbs up this video. So this video is kind of about like being yourself and not caring what other people think of you, because seriously all my life, and I know a lot of other people too, but like in their life they just keep getting judged by people. And like I mean everyone gets judged, and I know that like I can't stop that, or like no one can really stop that, but like to be honest you really can. You could do something. Like you might not think you can, but like seriously if you see somebody like getting judged by somebody, you don't have to just sit there. Like a lot of people, you know, will just like sit there and you don't like, and they'll just like watch it happen. And like when it comes to being judged, so many people are worrying about their future and worrying about like what will happen if they're not like everyone else. Because like the thing is, in our like society, everyone wants to be like everyone else. Everyone wants to have the same fashion as everybody else. Everyone wants to fit in. And that's like the problem in society, because too many people are trying to be like everyone else. And then since everyone's trying to be like everyone else, there's no originals in this world. Like no one wants to be original. No one is like trying to be themselves, and no one's trying to be different. And that's like, I don't know, it just kind of bothers me, because I mean like everyone has their own personality and everybody has their own taste, but like people judge other people for what they like just because they don't like the same things as like other people. And I mean like that's wrong. You should not be able to do that. Like there's this quote that I made that's all like, don't worry about what the future brings, worry about now, because without now there is no future. And I mean like it's the truth, because what are you guys gonna do? Like you guys are worrying so much about your future, and like this is not just like, this is seriously just like everyone. Like it's not just me. Like I'll be honest, I am worried about so many people judging me. Like I have changed myself just so that other people would have like, they wouldn't judge me and that they'd be okay with me. Like all I wanted to do all my life was just be accepted by society, because like society, it's just everyone, it's just different. Like society shouldn't be able to like make you who you should be, whoever you want to be. Don't let society create you. You are a human being, and you shouldn't let society control your life. They're controlling what you guys are doing in your life. You should be able to wake up one morning and just be like, you know what, today I'm going to be different, and you shouldn't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because I mean, if everyone's just doing the same thing, no one's going to be different. It's just going to be a boring lifestyle, and I mean, that's just, you shouldn't let that happen. Kind of the same thing about being judged. You see people being bullied in your school almost every day. I mean, I do. I go to school every single day and I see someone who's getting bullied or teased on, or someone who just is different, and everyone just judges them for it. And I mean, yeah, you could just sit there, but I mean, you know that in the back of your mind you're still thinking of that person and how bad you feel because they're being treated differently just because they're being unique and they're not being like everyone else. You know that you would still care about them, even though you're kind of with your friends, you just kind of like push it off because that's what they do, yet in the back of your mind you still actually want to do something about it because you know that it isn't right, yet you do nothing about it. That needs to change. People need to do something. You need to stick up for yourself. Tell someone, tell a teacher, tell parents, tell pretty much anyone. It's better than you just sitting there and doing nothing about the situation, because you know fair and square that that's not right. Like, you not saying anything about something that you know is just something that you can't just let happen. You can't just let this happen, because if this keeps happening, society as we know it'll just keep getting worse and worse, and people aren't going to stick up for themselves, and people aren't going to keep trying, and they're just going to give up. People are just going to start giving up, and then we're going to go nowhere because everyone doesn't know what to do anymore. And I don't think that's not the world that I want to start living in, and I'm doubtful that all you guys want to start living in that type of world either. Think that you can't do anything about it, but in reality you really can do something about it, and people really need to do something about it, because people being judged, it's not a good feeling. I've been judged before, and I've been picked on and bullied and all that type of stuff, and like I used to be called fat and ugly, and I mean like, yeah, I'm not like complaining saying that that's like, I don't know, like everyone in their life has probably been through this, being called terrible names and being made fun of and bullied, yet they just continue that because they don't stick up there for themselves. You gotta stick up for themselves, because like I used to be the same way. I would never stick up for myself. If somebody would say something, I'd just like brush it off my shoulder, even if seriously it like hurt me deep inside and I didn't know what to do. Like I wouldn't tell anyone, and I wouldn't tell my friends. I would just kind of like let it happen, and then like they would just continue it because they knew that I wouldn't do anything about it. But if I maybe would have stepped up and did something about it, then maybe it would have changed, like, totally. I would have been, if I stuck up for myself, I would have been right away out of the situation, and they would have known that, like, I'm not just gonna sit here and let them do that stuff to me and, like, say that stuff to me. This subject just really bothers me because, like, no one really gets it. Like, no one, like, they get it, but they don't comprehend it enough to actually do something about it. They just sit there and let this type of stuff happen. And, like, I don't know, just like recently at school I've been seeing more and more people just lately going throughout the halls, and you could tell that something's wrong, but like you don't know them, so it's not like you're gonna actually go up to them and talk to them. But sometimes that's all that somebody needs. All they need is just somebody that actually, like, for them to know that you care, that you actually will, like, talk to them even if you're not friends with them. Honestly, sometimes just smiling at a person that you don't know can make their whole day. Just because you smiled at them or talked to them, that could make their whole day, and they could go the rest of the day or even week. You could make their week by doing that, because somebody's life, you don't know their life outside of school. They could have like a terrible lifestyle outside of school and you wouldn't even know, yet they have a smile on their face every single day that they go to school. You just never know, like, nowadays, and people don't get that. They don't comprehend that just because somebody seems happy and they seem fine, that doesn't mean that they're actually fine. It means that they could just be really good at hiding it, and, like, that's all people do nowadays. Like, all they do is hide their emotions because they have no one to express their emotions to. Expressing your emotions isn't the easiest thing to do. Like, I would never tell anyone anything. Like, I mean, that's the hardest thing that a human being, like, has to do. They can't explain their emotions. Like, the only way I can really explain my emotions is, like, going on tangents like this, I guess. But, like, this is something that honestly people need to be, like, known of, and, like, this needs to be heard throughout the world. And, like, this isn't just something that I'm not just making this video just so you guys can see it. I'm doing this to inspire people to, like, actually do something about a situation instead of just sitting there and not doing anything. Because if you don't do anything now, nothing's gonna happen in your future, and it's not gonna change. Like, just, this isn't gonna change. It's gonna stay the exact same, and it just won't do anything. You guys don't even know, but, like, people every single day are committing suicide because of this too. And, like, yeah, you think about it and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of people that commit suicide every single day. But if you think about it, half of these people, like, we're the reason. Not all of us, but, like, certain people are the reason that other people commit suicide, because they go through so much pain they don't know what to do anymore, and they have no one to talk to because they can't explain their emotions. And they just have no one to talk to, and they feel so lonely that they just don't know what to do anymore, so they end their life. And that's a terrible thing to even think of, that somebody ends their life just because another human being said something to them that just hurt them deep inside so much that they had to commit suicide. But that's just that's the only thing that they thought that they could do to end the pain inside of them. But in reality, just if one person would have talked to them, like, and if this would have, like, never happened, they would have been fine and they would have been happy in their life. But, like, people just don't realize how bad words can hurt, and that's the problem, like, with this too, because people try to be unique, but then people judge them, and then they just say terrible things to people, and that we don't even, like, you hear people in the hallway say stuff to somebody and you kind of, like, laugh about it because you think that they're kind of joking, but, like, that person might not take it as a joke. And we hear these terrible, like, words every single day, but we just pass it by like it's nothing because we hear the same thing every single day, and it kind of just, like, seems like a routine in our minds. Like, people just keep saying it, and, like, you're just so used to it that it just kind of seems like it's an everyday thing, and you just kind of, like, let it go because it just seems like nothing. But in reality, it's not just nothing. It is absolutely something for a human being to commit suicide because of this, and it's a serious thing. And I mean, if these people just had someone to talk to, that this could have been prevented, and, like, it could have even been prevented if kids just wouldn't, if just people in general wouldn't have realized what they said beforehand, because, like, you just don't realize it, but words hurt. Anything you say to a person, whether it's a joke or not, it hurts. It hurts them deep down inside, even if you think it really doesn't. Just everyone's so used to people just saying these things to people that it's all like, oh, I might as well not say anything because it's not going to change, and that is not the case. We could change society as it is. Like, society is a terrible thing, whether some people can't see it, but when I see society, I see people who are just miserable because just the things that people say to people, and they just don't realize it. People say that suicide is a terrible thing, and yeah, in the back of your mind you're like, oh my gosh, somebody committed suicide because of this, but then usually you let it go until someone you love actually tries to commit suicide. When it comes down to somebody that you love and care for, whether if it's a friend, a family member, just some type of relative, either or, like if you hear that like someone that you personally knew and talked to committed suicide, then it's a whole different view for you. Like I've known too many people in my life that were close friends or family members that have tried to commit suicide, and I mean, like, I might see it differently than other people because of that, but once you know somebody in your life that tries to commit suicide, then you really know that there's a problem, because you think that they're all happy and stuff until you really realize what they've been going through behind closed doors. No one knows what people are thinking in their mind when they're alone at night. No one knows what happens and what just goes through, like, their body aches in pain because people, like, are just so abusive, and, like, words really hurt. Like, I cannot get that through you enough. Like, people have said too many things to me, and it honestly, like, it just bugs me because people just kind of, like, let this stuff slide, and you can't just let this stuff slide because it's not going to change in the future if you just keep letting things get this far. My main thing is just, you guys need to honestly be yourself. I don't care who you are, what you look like. I don't care. I talk to anyone and everyone. I love people, and yeah, I get mad at people sometimes and like irritated with people, but I would never ever, no matter who it was, go up to somebody and say, go kill yourself. That is like, that just crosses my line. Like, if somebody says go kill yourself to another human being, you have no idea how bad that like irritates me inside. Like, I seriously just want to scream, because there's no reason that somebody should say that to another human being. That is just not right. I don't care who you are. You should not say that to a human being, because then they take that seriously. But then when they do end up committing suicide, you're all like, why would you do that? You were totally happy, and you were like, I would never have expected that to ever happen. Why would you go and like kill yourself like that? But then you don't realize that you were the cause of that. You were the reason that somebody ended their life, and you just don't realize that until it's too late and they're already gone and you can't do anything about it. And then you're stuck forever in your mind, or there's like a mental picture and thought in your mind that you killed a person. You would be stuck with that forever, and I would never want to be like have that knowing that I killed another person or like another human being. I don't think I'd be able to live with myself if I knew that I was the cause of another person's death. And if you think about it, I don't think any of you guys would really want to live with that. I know I wouldn't, and that's just not something that to me is okay. You guys just gotta be you. You gotta be unique. You can't just go living your life every day trying to be like everyone else just because you look up to them. I'm not saying you can't like look up to people, but people need to start worrying more about themselves and trying to be unique and not trying to be like everyone else. You were created as a human being to be your own unique individual. You don't want to make copies of other people, because each person needs to have their own personality and own. You can't just have everyone being the same person, because then life would be nothing. Like, you gotta not care what other people think of you, and like that's really hard to say, even because I used to care like what people thought of me, but now that I realize that I'm my own unique person and that I really shouldn't care what people think about me, I feel so much better about myself, because I know that everyone is unique, everyone is different. You could be whoever you want to be. You don't have to be just like everyone else. You could do whatever you want to be, or you could be whoever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do in life. It's your life. You get to plan out your life. You gotta make your own path. You have to go your own journey. Don't just keep following the same road or path that's already been created for somebody else, because that path is not for you. You want to make your own path so that way you could do what you want to do. Who cares if nobody else wants to do it with you, or if like you're scared that other people will judge you because of it. Honestly, if you want to do something and like in your heart you personally like seriously believe in it and you really want to do something, then do it. There's no one stopping you. Even if you think that everyone might hate you for doing something or might not be your friend anymore, that's not the case. You get to do whatever you want to do, and basically you create your own lifestyle. You get to like make your future. Everything that you do today and what you do now, this is you creating your future of what, if you don't do anything now, you're not going to have a future, because you can't have success in your future if you don't even have success in your past or even the present. So you got to make yourself known. You got to make yourself, you have to like put yourself out there so that way you could be noticed. You don't want to just sit there your whole life and not know what to do, or you don't want to just sit there and do nothing, because it's not going to get you anywhere. And I mean, just people today, I don't get how people, I just don't get people. Like, how do people judge someone? And I mean, like, everyone judges people, and like, some people judge people harder than others, or some people judge people like where they don't mean it like literally, but some people honestly mean it, and it just kind of like kills me inside. Just some people who are out there in this world, it kills me inside knowing that they're out there doing this stuff to other people. Even though they're not doing it to me, I still physically feel the pain, because like it just kind of hurts me that people could say that. What irritates me even more is when people say that people do this type of stuff for attention. No one does this for attention. Yeah, there might be some people out there that like seriously do maybe, and they like admit to it, but otherwise people don't do this stuff for attention. I would not just go around, like, you don't know what's going inside of, like, what's happening inside of their mind, what's happening inside their body. You're not them, and you don't have the same thoughts they do. You don't know what they do when they're lonely, what they do when they're behind closed doors, when they're not in public. People are totally different when they're in public versus when they're home alone, and they just are stuck with all the thoughts inside of their head, and their thoughts take over. When your thoughts take over, that's pretty much it, because you are not in control anymore. Your thoughts are, your mind is in control of your body, and you can't do anything about it because you've been trying to do things about it your whole life, and it just isn't working out. And people just constantly keep saying this stuff to you, and you just don't know what to do about it. And that's just where society needs to change. We cannot just let this continue to happen. So I basically made this video because I wanted everyone to be aware of this, not just you guys, everyone. I want the whole world to know of this. Like, please share this video as much as you can, because I cannot get this out. This topic irritates me so much because people just don't get it. I want everyone to be aware that they need to be unique. You gotta be yourself. Don't let anyone be the boss of you. Don't let anyone just walk all over you. You need to be your own unique person, and you need to just don't care what anyone else says. Who cares if anyone judges you? You gotta be you, and there's no one better than being you. You are your own individual, and I love every single one of you, no matter who you are. Just remember that. Remember that there's still people out there that care. Even if you don't know them, they still could care. Like, I may not know any single one of you that watch this video, but I still care about every single one of you, and I want everyone to know this. I really want everyone to just get this message in their head, so that way maybe someday something will change. And if I could help, even if this doesn't change anything, if I could help just one situation, then I'm going to do it, because I want my message to be heard. This is a message that I truly believe in, and I really want this. I want people to be aware of this message, and I just wanted to get this out there so that way people can actually maybe understand for once what is going on, because some people don't even see it happening, and since I see it, and maybe once I say something, maybe other people will start to see it too, and then maybe there will be a change. Just remember, be yourself. There's no one else that could be you better than you. I can't stress that enough. Like, don't worry about what the future brings. Worry about now, because without now, there is no future. And that is seriously that's the thing that just everyone needs to go by. You just gotta realize that there's no one better than you, and you just need to live your life to the fullest. Like, that's just everything.